Saturday morning, and you get a knock at the door. It's your local Jehovah's Witness. You may be watching this video because you want to know who are the Jehovah's Witness. The Jehovah's Witness are a group of people who claim to be Christians but are branded by the Christians as a cult. This group of people, known as the Jehovah's Witness, began in 1870 by a man named Charles Taze Russell. Charles Taze Russell started the movement and got some followers. Then he began to print literature to pass out to his followers. He called it the Zion's Watchtower Tract Society. And by 1884, he wrote a 6-volume set called Studies in the Scriptures. The movement began to grow, and then Charles Taze Russell died in 1916. After his death in 1916, Russell was replaced by Joseph Rutherford. Rutherford wrote several books. There was a split in the movement, those who wanted to follow Charles Taze Russell and those who wanted to follow Joseph Rutherford. The group that followed Charles Russell were known as the Russellites. The group that followed Rutherford called themselves the Jehovah's Witness, to distinguish themselves from the Russellites. The Jehovah's Witnesses incorporated the name Watchtower Bible and Tract Society in the 1930s, which began to produce books and 2 magazine subscriptions, known as the Watchtower Magazine and the Awake Magazine. The Jehovah's Witness also have their own Bible, known as the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. Over the years, the movement of the Jehovah's Witness has continued to grow, and now its numbers are in the several millions. The main conversion tactics of the Jehovah's Witness is to target Christians who already believe in God and are somewhat biblically illiterate or unequipped to defend Christianity from the Jehovah's Witness version of the Bible. The Jehovah's Witness do believe that the Bible is God's revelation to humanity, but that most Bible translations are corrupted or distorted, and the only trustworthy translation of the Bible is their Bible, the New World Translation. Some of the beliefs that the Jehovah's Witness hold that are different from Christianity, which caused the Christian community to ban the Jehovah's Witness as a cult, are as follows. The Jehovah's Witness deny the doctrine of the Trinity. They deny that the Holy Spirit is a person, but rather an impersonal force, like electricity or wind, etc. They believe that Jesus Christ is actually a created being, who is Michael the Archangel. They believe that human beings do not have an immaterial soul. They believe that hell does not exist, but rather hell is just the grave. The Jehovah's Witnesses believe that all Christian churches are apostate churches and are instruments of the devil. They believe that only the Jehovah's Witnesses, anointed class of 144,000, will go to heaven. And unless you are in communication with the Jehovah's Witness and their governing body, you will not progress along the road of life, no matter how much you read the Bible. The Jehovah's Witness governing body in New York City claim to be God's prophet. In their Watchtower magazine of 1972, the month of April, on page 197, it says, "This prophet today is known as the Jehovah's Christian Witnesses." The Jehovah's Witness believe that Jesus Christ has begun to rule the earth invisibly since 1914, and the present world today is nearing the destruction of Armageddon. The Jehovah's Witnesses do not participate in politics. They believe that human government is controlled by the devil. They once believed that vaccinations, organ transplants, and blood transfusions were sinful and strictly forbidden. But now, after several have died, they've changed their views on some of these practices. The Jehovah's Witnesses refuse to celebrate birthdays. They say birthdays are evil. They do not participate in any quote-unquote pagan holidays, such as Christmas. The Jehovah's Witness governing body of men from New York maintains strict control over their followers by utilizing what is known as the shunning or disfellowshipping. A follower of the Jehovah's Witness can be cut off from his family and friends forever for so much as disagreeing with the Jehovah's Witness Bible interpretation or reading forbidden books. The Jehovah's Witness followers are required to do many, many hours of service, beginning with scouting the neighborhood, knocking on doors, and keeping track of their hours, which are reported up the chain of command. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to tune in to our other videos on the Jehovah's Witness.